It's been a few weeks since the Lakers got swept and their season ended in the Western Conference Finals. And I think it's time to finally come out of hiding after properly mourning the Lakers season. So what happened? How did we get here? Well, first of all, let's just get it out of the way. Was this season a failure? Yes, absolutely. I don't want to hear that there's no such thing as failure bullshit. The goal is always to win a championship, and if that doesn't happen, the season is a failure. Regardless of what your expectations are of the team, or the expectations of the rest of the basketball world, the Lakers had their own expectations. They had a goal, and they failed to achieve that goal. So the season was a failure. But that doesn't mean we can't appreciate what the team was able to achieve and the obstacles they were able to overcome. And although the season was a failure, they are headed in the right direction and can use their experience to try and reach that goal of a championship again next season. So why did they lose? And why did they lose the way that they did? Why did they get swept? Well, plain and simple, they lost to a better team. I mean, the Nuggets are the NBA champs. They're clearly the best team in the league. But why were they better than the Lakers in particular? Well, the biggest thing is chemistry and cohesion. This Nuggets core has been together for a long time, whereas the Lakers roster was put together at the trade deadline. And you could tell the difference that made watching the series. I mean, other than Rui Hachimura, the most reliable players for the Lakers were the ones that were there since the start of the season. We commend the new players for propelling the Lakers to the Western Conference Finals, but ultimately, that wasn't enough to compete against the well-oiled machine that is the Denver Nuggets. Another reason the Nuggets were the better team, and it's a big one, is that they had the best player in the series. Arguably the two best players. But you can't talk about the Nuggets' success without talking about Nikola Jokic. He's just on another level right now. Arguably the best player in the league. His resume speaks for itself. The guy is great, and there was nothing we could do to stop him. Jamal Murray was also insane with his shot-making ability, and the rest of the Nuggets got hot at the right time. And that was magnified by the fact that the Lakers role players got absolutely cold at the wrong time. The obvious guy here is D'Angelo Russell, and it's unfortunate because he's the biggest name, so he gets most of the blame out of all the role players. But he certainly was not the only guy that got cold. Other guys just got cold earlier in the playoff run and lost their spot in the rotation completely. But if he's not hitting his shots, then he's not useful. And credit to the Nuggets defense for making it tough on him, but also credit to their offense for attacking D'Lo and essentially playing him off the floor. And that's another issue the Lakers had. They didn't have enough two-way players. They had guys that could shoot and create on offense like D'Lo, Malik Beasley, Lonnie Walker, or they had guys that could defend like Jared Vanderbilt. But these players couldn't do both. And Denver eventually found ways to exploit those weaknesses and play them off the floor. Towards the end of the series, the only reliable role players that could play both sides were Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and Dennis Schroeder to an extent. And clearly, that wasn't enough to overcome the Nuggets. Now, a lot of people are going to blame Darvin Ham, and you can't deny that he played a role in the Lakers' demise. I said before the playoffs even started that he was going to get outcoached by somebody, and he eventually lost the coaching battle to Mike Malone. His decisions were pretty bad. I mean, playing a three-guard lineup against this Nuggets team? Come on. And he took way too long to make the proper adjustments. So Darvin Ham is definitely the reason the Lakers got swept. But the Lakers were going to lose to the Nuggets regardless of the coaching. Take your pick. Insert Eric Spoelstra, Greg Popovich, even Frank Vogel. Maybe they could get a couple wins in there, but ultimately the outcome would be the same. Now, probably the biggest thing for the Lakers, and something I believe could have changed the outcome of the series, was the fact that LeBron didn't look like LeBron. This was not the typical playoff LeBron that we're used to. He only scored over 30 points a couple times throughout the playoff run. He was very reliant on his teammates. and he wasn't very explosive. Now, some people are going to say that it's because he's old, and that's just who he is at this stage of his career. But I don't buy that at all. We saw him at the beginning of the season doing ridiculous things, being the LeBron we're all accustomed to. What changed was the foot injury he suffered. He clearly wasn't the same player after that. He still found ways to be effective and was still one of our best players, but he wasn't at the level that we expect or what he expects out of himself. So because he couldn't go out there and score 30 plus a night, the team was more reliant on 17 from D'Lo or 30 from AD. And when that didn't happen, well, you saw what happened. They fell short of their goal and got swept. And one thing we can't overlook is the fatigue for the whole team, but especially for LeBron. They were exhausted both physically and mentally. They were playing high-intensity, high-stakes basketball since the trade deadline, fighting from behind to just get a play-in spot, all while learning how to play with each other. Add to that all the other issues I mentioned, and it was just too much to overcome. So definitely a disappointing way to end the season, but again, proud of what the team was able to accomplish considering how the season started. And there's definitely something there, something to build on. I definitely think we should run it back for the most part, with some minor tweaks here and there, of course. But there are definitely things we can look forward to next season. Darvin Ham is going to be a better coach now that he's had a year of experience under his belt. He's going to learn from the many mistakes he made this season. Austin Reeves is going to be even better than this year. This playoff run is going to be great for his development. He's also likely going to play in the FIBA World Cup. So playing under coaches like Steve Kerr, Eric Spoelstra, and other great coaches, and also playing alongside other young stars, that's going to do wonders for his development. Guys like Rui, D'Lo, and the rest of the rotation players, they're all going to have a much more defined role. They'll be a lot more comfortable in those roles, and the chemistry will be a lot better, especially with a full training camp together. And of course, LeBron. He's probably going to need surgery, but whatever he needs to do to get that foot right, he's going to do it. And I think he'll be back to the LeBron we're all accustomed to seeing, assuming he doesn't retire. Overall, it was a fun season. We got almost 2 extra months of Lakers basketball, and watching the Lakers was exciting again. And I think it's going to be even better next season.